They have to post it for at least 1 week. Law requires 1 week posting, so we did that, and then they
Good evening.
forward any and all names.
Chair will open the meeting at 6:31. First order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 2, Board of Selectmen minutes of March 13th.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes of the Board of Selectmen meeting for March 13th, 2017, as written.
Motion by Mr. Fox,
Second?
seconded by Mr. Marcy. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Executive session minutes of March 13th, 2017.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we accept the Board of Selectmen's minutes for executive session, March 13th, 2017, as written,
There's been
not to be released at this time.
Motion by Mr.
Second.
Fox, seconded by Mr. Marcy. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 3, without objection, the chair will table due to lack of quorum for the planning board.
Correct.
Item B is Jen Fitzgerald, to be appointed Inspector of Animals, also known as Barn Inspector, with a term to expire of April 1st, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Marcy, seconded by Mr. Fox. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 4 is public comments. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to be heard that does not have an item on the agenda? No. Seeing none?
Well, that's why we couldn't pronounce it.
Item 6 is licensing and permits. Common victualer's license and jukebox license for Saint, typographical, correct? Philip Atier and St. Anthony Incorporated, doing business as Dudley House of Pizza, 212 West Main Street, Dudley. Shinoda Basilius, owner.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Fox, seconded by Mr. Marcy. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor.
Aye.
Motion carries. Unanimous, I'm sorry. All opposed.
Common vic, too.
Any abstentions? One abstention. Motion carries with one abstention. Public hearings, Class 2 license, Eurocars, 44 Oxford Ave, Dudley.
Oh, that's it.
Mariusz Kalinowski. The chair will open a public hearing at 6:34. Wow, we are moving tonight.
Good.
All coincidental.
Mr. Kalinowski. Come on up, sir. Is this a new license?
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Have applied for a Class 2 license. Could you tell us about the need for the license and what type of business you want to establish?
Yes, I tried to make the permit for the Class 2 second-hand license.
Class 2 secondhand, okay. Questions of the board?
Mr. Chair, just through the administrator, we have the packet here with the building inspector's letter, there's all other requirements and other boards all signed off and is in order.
They have.
All I need to know.
This is co-located at another business, sir?
Yes,
Yep. Trucking, construction,
truck.
trucking business? Okay. I think we're familiar, are you familiar with this?
Oh, yes.
I know
The old Rogers Oil.
There it is.
Is there anyone here tonight that would like to be heard for this hearing? Mr. Fox?
How many cars do you intend on having on this parcel of land?
I looking for like between 3 or 5 cars.
Up to 5?
No, 3 or 5, the maximum 5 cars.
Okay.
Any further questions of the board or those in attendance here tonight? Hearing none, seeing none, the chair will close the public hearing at 6:36. What's the board's pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we grant a Class 2 license, Euro cars, to Mariusz Kalinowski at 44 Oxford Ave, Dudley, Mass.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Marcy, seconded by Mr. Fox. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion
you very
carries
much.
unanimous. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks for
Good luck.
expanding your business in Dudley.
Thank you.
Leesburg.
8A is a toll booth request from Lisa Berg for the Blessed Backpack Brigade for Saturday, September 2nd, 2017, from 9 a.m. to noon. Good
Hi.
evening.
Identify yourself, please.
Lisa Berg, 7 Page Lane, Dudley.
Thank you.
Could you describe the purpose of the toll booth, please?
Sure. Back in June, Lori Joseph and I had formed the Blessed Backpack Brigade, which feeds and clothes the local homeless, needy. We currently started, I think it was the beginning of this month, we have fellowship meals, free fellowship meals at the American Legion on Houghton Street in Webster. It's not just for the homeless and the needy. Some of the elderly come with their friends to sit there and socialize, have a good meal together. Donations are accepted but not required. These meals are costing about $300 per meal, we average. So we're just trying to get some more donations so we can keep these meals going twice a month.
Okay. Questions of the board?
Nope, just to the administrator, we have the book, right, of other brigades, is none scheduled before or after, and
No, the date is open.
she met with the police chief with the setup and all that.
I sent an email off to the chief, and he said there was no problem,
Okay.
as long as there was no problem with the Board of Selectmen.
Mr. Marcy?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we grant the toll booth request to Lisa Berg and the Blessed Backpack Brigade for Saturday, September 2nd, 2017, from 9 a.m. to noon.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Marcy, seconded by Mr. Fox.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna ask. Do you want a rain date, Lisa? You can amend our motion.
Does it have to be on Saturdays, or can it be anytime?
Saturdays is the way we do it, yeah.
Could we do Sunday, the following day, or if it's
Not
open?
restricted, right? By law, it's not restricted.
Okay, can I amend my motion, Mr. Chairman, to add a rain date of Sunday, September 3rd, 2017, also from 9 a.m. to noon?
I'll second that amendment.
Okay. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Lisa.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Very good cause.
Item 8B is the highway superintendent to discuss cemetery rules and regulations.
Mr. Chairman, I wanted this put on the agenda, just see if the board would set up a meeting that would include at least one selectman, Mr. Valiakonis, myself, and along with Dennis Tremblay from Buildings and Grounds, and possibly Mark Bartel from the funeral home, just to go over the current rules and regulations we have for the town-owned cemeteries. Throughout the summer months, when Dennis is up there working on the cemeteries, cutting the grass and doing some other maintenance work, there are some violations of the rules and regulations. And I think it's basically because people just don't know what they are. So if we could get together and review them with this little committee and bring it back to the next selectmen's meeting to vote on it, any changes, I'll keep it the way it is. I could have some signs made up. We could put them at the entrances of the cemeteries as well as the town's website, so people would know. And I think it'll go a long way for more efficient maintenance of the cemeteries.
So does this discuss rules and regulations as they relate to maintenance and care of the cemeteries, or is it beyond that?
That's all I'm concerned about. I mean, as far as what we have a current rules and regulations right now that were voted on back, I think, in 2010. And I know Dennis had some ideas of maybe adding a few things to it. And if we can get a, like I said, a little small committee together and discuss that and bring it back to the board to be voted on before the planting season starts. It's basically, for my concern, is basically the decorations and the plantings that are being violated against, with the current rules and regulations.
Do we anticipate, Greg, just stepping on any of the issues, the cemetery issues that we're dealing with now?
None. There's no relationship between this discussion and any of the other cemetery stuff that's been talked about for the last 14 months.
So you're asking, Mr. Fox?
You're asking for a committee.
I'm asking for, yeah, just to get together at least one board member, Mr. Valiakonis, myself, and along with Dennis Tremblay from Buildings and Grounds, and probably invite Mark Bartel from the funeral parlor. I know he's had a few suggestions over the years.
Plus, he's the town's, what's his official title?
Burial agent.
Burial agent.
Should we have a motion that limits the scope to maintenance and care, upkeep?
It's
sort of thing?
similar to what's in your packet, which is the rules and regulations.
For
There's
municipal.
Yeah, there's confusion that comes up about what type of monuments are appropriate for different lots. People feel as though they have a right to put in as many monuments as they would like, yet the regulations specify, depending upon whether it's a single grave or a double grave, there's certain stipulations that are there. And this is an example of issues that we've encountered in the past.
And when will they meet?
When are you available?
During the day?
Sound like a
Whatever.
volunteer right there.
Huh?
Sounds like a volunteer.
I don't anticipate this meeting to take more than an hour.
Right, and it
You
only
know.
requires action of the Board of Selectmen to ratify it
I'll
immediately.
be happy to help with that too, if you guys want.
I'll
Come
help,
around.
whatever.
I know he started this about a year or so ago too, and I actually did talk to Mark. He emailed some suggestions, and it kind of faded off with all the other stuff that cropped up.
I do remember that.
So,
He told me about
is this are we looking at bylaw or policy
No,
changes, or
just a
just?
policy.
Just
Rules that they're voted by the cemetery commissioners, which is the board, is sufficient.
okay.
Sounds-
I want to make sure that if there's any residents that would be interested in this.
We can always,
But again, if it's a limited scope for care, maintenance,
we're not required to have a
Sort of
hearing,
thing.
but we can post if the board wants to have a hearing, you know, just to give the public an opportunity to have input into the process.
I think under the circumstance, that would be a good idea.
Good.
I think, Mr. Chair, too, we could probably
That's good.
collect some data. Danny could get, if Dennis got some ideas, Danny could bring them forward too, so we can have them at the public hearing, maybe like a little handout for people,
To show what the
What we're
proposed
thinking.
changes are.
right? That we, instead of getting up and sitting down and question, say, this is what we're looking at.
Okay, I think that's a good.
Maybe try it that way, Danny.
All right,
Maybe recontact Mr. Bartel, see what he says. Just to try to organize it a little bit.
Yeah, motion for
might as well.
that. Mr. Chairman, I move that we authorize the town administrator and the highway superintendent to create a committee to study and have a public hearing on municipal cemetery rules and regulations.
Okay.
Question, do the public hearing first, have the committee meet first.
Oh, that's a
Don't
good
wanna- I
question.
don't
I think the
stress the
hear,
process,
I
though.
think the hearing should be based on what the recommendations
Yeah.
are. Otherwise, we don't know, we don't really, the hearing could go on for months if it's not.
That's right, right. That's why I want to try to
That's
get
why my
organized.
motion was and,
Yeah.
you
Okay.
know, and A.
Okay.
I'm okay with
Further
that.
discussion? Hearing none, all in, Peter,
Mr. Fox.
hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you.
Very good,
Thanks,
thank you.
Danny.
Item C is the Board of Health requesting permission to hold Earth Day on Saturday, April 29th, from 8 AM to noon at the Highway Garage on Indian Road.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Fox, seconded by Mr. Marcy. Is there discussion? Do we have that drop-off still? Didn't we have a drop-off in Sutton for Earth Day? Or
Oh, that was hazardous.
that was a hazardous, oh yeah, hazardous
Hazardous
material.
waste day.
Grant for that a few years back, but
It's our,
we've unable to get any more money since then. I've been looking to get
Yeah, okay.
What was the cost, chief, of that, do you remember?
5,000
Yeah. When we did it a few years back, it was, the total amount of the grant was 5,000, and it was up to $100 per person, and they could bring their stuff right to Sutton. I've looked into it a couple times, trying to find funding from other funding sources. I've been unable to so far, but I've been working on some other grants too, so I kind of got pulled away from that. But I was just looking at it the other day and thinking maybe I can find a donation or something where we can get $5,000 or $6,000 where we can put back in, because that item, that account line still exists in the budget. So
Zero.
it's got like $110 in it or something. It's not part of my budget. It says hazardous waste gift account, so it's totally separate, but I can see if I can get another funding source and we can ramp that up again.
Try to do it on the same day like before.
Well, it's not one day. It's like the account's there and people can go whenever they want until the money runs out. Like I almost got a whole year out of it because people kept asking. I kept telling them, yeah, you go to Sutton and you can drop off all your stuff if you just got to show a license and show that you're a town resident of Dudley. And it actually lasted pretty much a year until the funds went dry.
So if somebody shows up on Earth Day with the hazardous materials, what do we?
Well, that's separate. That would be him.
We pay
That's
for it, or
that's
who
it.
pays for it?
I don't know who
They
pays
turn
for
away, I
that,
think.
Danny. Earth Day's totally separate.
Board of Health.
Yeah.
Yeah, they turn them away, I
I
don't
believe
think.
the
Hazardous waste, I don't
Board of
think
Health
they take it.
conducts it, and people go around, pick up debris and trash from all over the roads and stuff and turn it into the,
But if people show up with like car batteries and hazardous materials, we don't pay to dispose of
We
it.
charge them extra, right?
We charge them, correct?
I'm not quite sure. I don't think they collect any hazardous material on Earth Day. I think there's flyers, that when the flyers are sent out, it states what you can and cannot bring.
correct.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
They turn them away, I think, if they come in with
All right.
prohibited.
Because even Mr. Chairman, even the place in Sutton, I brought some stuff, and there was some stuff that wasn't on the list, and I had to pay above the,
Well, yeah, there's certain things, but they take most everything for the $100. But we did it that way too, because if you do it local and you do it for one day, you're paying for the people to run the place too. I mean, this way here, if I get a donated amount of money and they take their stuff to Sutton, all the money's going towards the disposal, and you're not paying for the labor of somebody. So I'll have something for you the next meeting. I'll make some calls and see if I can get some donations, and we'll make it happen.
Okay, great.
Thanks, chief.
thanks, Chief, thanks, Dan.
Thank you. That's all voted, right? All set.
I see, I think you have to vote.
We vote on it,
Did we vote on it?
don't we? No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Item D is Board of Health, permission to use the Clorinda Wood Fund in the amount of $372 to pay Harrington Memorial Hospital for health services in February 2017.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Fox, seconded by Mr. Marcy. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item E is a poll petition, West Dudley Road.
Those are pictures he sent out, right?
Yep.
Approval contingent upon highway superintendent meeting with National Grid.
Danny, that was the email you sent us?
Yes, I sent everyone an email last week. I did go out there and meet the representative from National Grid. The pole is all in line with the rest of the poles that are there. They're all on town property, so there should be no issues there at all.
Okay. Mr. Marcy.
So the resident that was just asking the question is all set now and
We
understands,
didn't
or-
see her there that
Okay.
morning, but I did mark out the property line with some orange paint, as I took the picture and showed the board. So it's a good, the pole is probably 7 or 8 feet from the property line, and the guy wire that's gonna come down is probably 2 feet closer than that to the property line, but it's all on town property.
Be nice if the resident was given a heads up. Do we know who that lady was? If we could just kind of reach out to her and just kind of tell her that what the results were, I think that would be good.
I think we all
Please.
swapped off information with, wasn't he Nigel? The guy,
That was the solar guy.
yeah, but they were also talking about the poles and the road, and it was all interconnected. So if we get hold of one, we get hold of them all probably.
But at least from the standpoint of National Grid,
Right.
that's what they came for, so yeah.
the other issues too.
Yeah, hopefully they all met on that. Okay,
Okay.
Do we have to vote on
we have to
this?
vote on that, Greg?
Yes.
Yeah, contingent upon
Yes, you
the
do.
report.
What's the board's pleasure?
Oh,
Make a motion, Mr. Chair, that we grant the National Grid poll petition that was continued from our last meeting.
Motion by
Second.
Mr. Sullivan, seconded by Mr. Fox. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries unanimous. Item F, I asked to have put on, a few months ago, the police chief came and asked for a debt exclusion by cruisers, and, we voted affirmatively to put it on a town meeting warrant, and then it went to the ballot, correct? Is that for the debt exclusion? And it was the right thing to do. I mean, we're borrowing money at less than 1%, so what I was thinking at the time was that it would be crazy for us not to take advantage of something like that and put it to the voters, so that passed, but I broke one of my own rules doing that, and it's been bothering me ever since. What I'd like to do is make sure that we always have a public hearing for any debt exclusion or override question prior to taking a vote on it, on the agenda, so I'm asking the board to adopt that policy.
Prior to our board taking a vote, you mean?
Correct.
I don't have a problem with
I
that.
don't have any problem with that at all.
Nothing wrong with more information.
Nope. People be more informed, make a
Mhm.
decision when they come to town meetings.
It's transparency.
So,
So where would that, does, have the administrator type it up a
We'll
little
put pen and
more?
paper, yeah.
Okay. Where would that end up being found?
Financial policies, so there's a section on financial policies, we'll find a place for it to go right in that, so.
It wouldn't be like a bylaw, obviously.
No,
and with something, if there was some sort of exigent circumstance where we couldn't, it wouldn't make any sense, like if we were gonna lose the rate, or if it was an
Right.
emergency situation, we can still get around that if, the majority of the board votes up to go ahead and,
Yeah,
Right.
Sorry.
it should be, I think, a standing policy that we give ourselves enough time to let the public weigh in on it, and then make a decision from there.
I think with the, like you just said, a contingency, in case something happened that we couldn't do
Mhm.
it.
Right.
Leave that discretion to the majority vote.
So, I mean, that wouldn't have changed my vote at all, based on,
No.
based on what we're borrowing the money at. I mean, it makes total sense to me, but I just think in the future, it's not enough time when we have to go to right to get the meeting, the town meeting warrant printed. We need time before, to make the decision and to hear from the public.
I agree.
Are you looking for a motion on this?
Yep.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we adopt a public hearing requirement prior to voting to place a debt exclusion or override article on the town meeting warrant.
Second,
Motion by Mr. Fox, seconded by Mr. Marcy. Is there discussion?
Right, we're just gonna wait till, are we giving Greg the authority to actually codify this, or is that how we're gonna just do the motion? Because then you wanna have a little more information than that in there, you know what I mean? Should the motion be more, have the administrator bring it forward? As opposed to-
Propose it, draft it.
Is that a better way to do it, Peter?
that's fine.
That's okay.
okay, I'm good with that too.
That's the intent, then, of the
So
motion.
you want me
is
to withdraw the motion?
No, just the intent would be to bring something forward
Oh, absolutely.
concerning this policy.
Yeah, I'd like to adopt the motion so that we have it on the record, and then we'll fine tune it and then go from there.
Approve it.
Perfect.
Michelle, you all right with that motion? Because I'm not sure I understand. Can we start from scratch?
Yeah. I'll make a motion that we adopt a public hearing requirement prior to voting to take place on debt exclusion or override article on the town meeting warrant.
Seconded by Mr. Marcy.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Gotta approve my own motion.
Item 9, Mr. Tatro.
Good evening, everyone. Winter sports have officially concluded at Shepherd Hill. Spring sports tryouts took place last week, and baseball, softball, lacrosse, and all other spring activities will be beginning their seasons in the next few weeks. ELA MCAS was administered to all 10th grade students on March 21st through the 23rd. The annual dodgeball tournament took place on Friday, March 24th. The highly anticipated event drew large turnout. All proceeds from ticket sales went to the Shepherd Hill Student Council. The Shepherd Hill Band performed their winter concert on Thursday, March 23rd, and the Shepherd Hill Winter Percussion Ensemble hosted their annual percussion festival at Shepherd Hill on Sunday, March 26th. Groups from all over the state came to compete at this event. The Shepherd Hill Show Choirs competed in Windsor Locks, Connecticut on March 18th at the Nutmeg Show Choir Festival. Illusion was the grand champion of the women's division, and Fantasy took home second place with awards for best choreography. The choirs competed again this past weekend on March 25th in Andover at the New England Show Choir Showdown. Illusion once again was the grand champion of the women's division, and Fantasy won their third competition of the season, winning best band, best choreography, and grand champion. In the next weeks at Shepherd Hill, the Student Council-sponsored Spring Blood Drive will be held on Wednesday, March 29th. Quarter 3 grades close on Friday, March 31st. The DCRSD District Show Choir Festival will be held on Sunday, April 2nd at 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. Reserved seating is sold out. The National Honor Society induction ceremony will take place on Tuesday, April 4th at 7 p.m. The Science and Engineering Fair will be held on Thursday, April 6th from 5:30 to 7:30 in the cafeteria. And finally, third quarter report cards will be issued on Friday, April 7th. That was a typo on my part. I apologize.
Thank you. Good job.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jared.
So Jared, how was the MCAS?
I didn't take it this year. I'm a junior.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it was pretty rough last year when I took it. Yeah, it's really, really boring. But you gotta do it. You gotta take it.
Thank you. Board member comments. Mr. Sullivan.
Pretty quiet tonight, Mr.
Massey.
Chairman.
Mr. Fox.
Just want to remind the board members that Wednesday night, we have a joint meeting with the school committees and the finance department to discuss the school budget. And and the state reps will be there, it's my understanding also.
Correct.
And that's at 6:30 at Shepherd Hill.
Okay.
And I will be attending.
Everybody else set? Okay. Mr. Bell, your comments.
A couple things. The request for proposals has been issued for the project manager for the fire station project. I think I had updated the board at the last meeting. So those proposals are due in on the 12th of April, and then the board will be presented with a recommendation. Once the building committee goes through and reviews those proposals, we'll get back to you with a recommendation for award of that contract. And then the only other thing that I have is there's a meeting of the marijuana ad hoc committee this week, and we will be talking and considering recommendations to the board on actions that may be necessary for either the annual town meeting or town election. It's a calendar that's operating, so the committee needs to be able to be proactive in terms of making recommendations back to the board, and those will be done at your meeting on the 10th. That's it.
Is the police chief involved in that?
Heavily.
Thank you.
Fire and EMS, too.
Speaking of which,
Yes.
Chief, department comments? Chief?
Wow,
Wow, wow. Okay.
scary.
So tired.
Item 12.
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman?
Motion by Mr. Marcy, seconded by the chair,
Second.
Mr. Fox.
Mr. Chair, before I'm just making sure we got people here. Nobody has anything to say. It's not on the agenda. I know you made the call.
Mr. Raymond.
Looked up there multiple times.
I'm not inviting anybody up
Have
unwillingly.
a more of a vigilant visit than a,
Gentleman who's buying Dudley House of Pizza is here. And he signed
oh, he came to,
it. Yeah, he came a little late.
That's why I was
oh,
wondering.
really?
Oh, okay.
Did he want to be heard?
That's why I was wondering.
Do the new owners of Dudley Pizza, would they like to be heard? Hi.
We signed it for you already, but.
You missed the vote.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shinoda Basilius. I'm living here in Dudley. I like the Dudley. There was nice people around this one. So I like to make a business in the area I live on it. So I see like the guys, he need to sell it. So I talk with him already. So we just try to finish the paper. So we try to get the license for you first.
Okay. Well, we've approved it, so
We've signed it, right?
Yep.
Everybody signed it? Okay.
any changes to the menu?
A little bit, yes. We're
Little
gonna
bit?
add a little bit of stuff too.
When do you start? I mean, working
when,
there now,
when we
or-
finish the paperwork, like it's
Yeah.
like maybe this week we're gonna finish everything.
it's definitely a Dudley institution, so.
Yeah. Thank you.
Better for worse.
My Midhead here, Mike is my partner.
Nice to meet you guys.
Wish you well.
We'll have you back maybe under another new business item called
Around town.
Around Town, focusing on
Yes.
local business. We want to come back in a few months and tell us how you're doing?
Why not?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
End of the summer.
You're
probably.
gonna like everything anyway. When you start by, like try it.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah. We're gonna make everything is good anyway. Try to make some like as a like 20% off the first time to people come to see what's going on.
Great.
Thank you.
Wish you
Okay,
well.
thank you so much.
Good luck.
Thank you. Good luck.
Wish you guys a lot of luck.
Hello. Thank
See
you.
you soon.
With that,
Mr. Raymond, one more
any-
time.
listen,
Sorry.
let's whistle past the graveyard in this case, okay? Okay.
Motion to
Motion
adjourn.
adjourn.
No, it's already been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
We're done.